my former student, Al Tillman, is committed to doing the right thing, and that sometimes you face problems in life because you're committed to doing the right thing and not the wrong thing. And he is following the law, and if he wasn't trying to find the law, I wouldn't even be here. So nobody can stop this train. He's here. He's a legitimate politician. He's been doing things in the community for the last 20 years. So I support Al Tillman, and we are ready to go on with the election.
Thank you, Mr. Lightfoot, who has inspired me over the years as a teacher, my mom, who is here, and of course my wife and children. One of the things that we've been hesitant to address that has been hurtful by Mr. Tillman and Mr. Gibson is that I've abandoned my family. I've been married to my wife more than 17 years. We have 2 beautiful children together. And I think people need to realize the person that we're dealing with here. Here's a man, Mr. Gibson, who did not attend his daughter's wedding because he disliked the fiance who was working in the mayor's office. And so people just need to understand that this is not about Al Tillman, legitimate candidates. We know that I'm a legitimate candidate. What we've got to do is stop the circus. We've got to add some civility and integrity back. And this is why I'm running, just for this, to stop the circus that we all have been witness to. I want to thank the judge and the court for seeing through and understand. I want to thank the Board of Election and its members. And I want to ask the public to ask them, to ask these candidates, let's talk about the issues. I'll be glad to sit down and debate Mr. Tillman on issues. The negative attacks has hurt so many people in our community, and this is what we talk about when we talk about crabs in a bucket. And we've tried to be as respectful as possible. And so as we move forward, we ask our supporters that this is taking a drain on our candidacy, but we're moving forward and we're going to be positive and stay positive, and we're not going to sling mud. All the mud that they're slinging, we're just going to clean it up and continue to move forward. And we appreciate y'all for being here.
Do you think that all this attention is going to distract voters?
I think what it has done, it has allowed voters to see why there's a change that's needed in city government. That these are the same folks that have benefited from the Civil Rights, Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Movement, and now what they're doing to me, as opposed to teaching the next generation, as opposed to passing the torch to the next generation, they are trying to stop us from pursuing and running to help serve the community. Just want to serve the community and continue to be of service and offer ourselves as a community servant.
How does it make you feel being the person that they're attacking?
Well, because we practice unity and because I understand how to deal with conflict resolution, I can handle it and we can deal with it. We go to church every Sunday, my family and I, along with my mom, who's here. And as long as she's living, I'll always be respectful. And I'm glad she's here. I mean, these folks have tried to dig up everything but my father and grandmother, who is no longer with us. And so I was taught very early on that just because a person mistreats you, you don't mistreat them. And that's what my mother has taught me. And that's what I've learned from my school teachers and Mr. Lightfoot, who continues to be a guidance and an inspiration for me. And I appreciate it.
If you end up winning the election, what kind of things can you do? What kind of things are you going to do differently that kind of will reflect the differences between you and the old guard that's been, trying to hamper your...
Well, when we win the election, one of the things that I would like for us to do is the mayor and commissioners is we need to quarterly start going to church together. Pick churches out throughout the community and let people see us stand together and worship together. That's what's needed. I mean, my wife and I and the children, we worship together on Sunday. And so if the mayor's office and the commissioners can worship together, I think it's a start where the community can say there's a change and a change in atmosphere. Because we've got to stop the dysfunction. We've got to stop the circus. And it's about bringing the community together. And once the community see that the mayor and the commission is standing united and together, then I think the community can begin to have some trust in us. Because we've got to bring some jobs. We've got to encourage these young men and women who are suffering in our community to do things that's better. I've looked up to Mr. Tillman. He's been a family friend. Mr. Gibson. And so now, I don't know, who do we look up to? Because if this is where our leaders are acting, we need new leadership to look up to. And that's why I'm glad that I have some of my school teachers and even my mom that's still here to teach me discipline and self-respect. And with the military background, that was one of the things I learned early on. Discipline and respect of others, you know.
Any questions?
Could I say one thing last thing? Yes, sir.
Go for it.
Okay. If the people that are trying to oppose Mr. Tillman had any problem with this law was passed in Atlanta, that you could move in one day before the qualifying. Now, if they had a problem with it, they should have protested then. When somebody gets in the race that they don't care for, then they want to say that's a bad law. So my former students follow the law. If you have a problem with the law, go to Atlanta and protest. But don't try to deal with Al Tillman, because he's a new politician. He's going to bring a new vision, a new voice, and a new way of doing things.
And thank you all. Anything